Okay, here I want you to take the smaller of the two circles. So the big one was used for the cardboard, or the tougher board. The slightly smaller one is going to be used here. So on your piece of paper, I want you to trace 2 of these smaller circles. Hold the pencil nice and close, make sure it's sharp. Okay, like that. And then use your scissors to cut them out. Okay, pause the video while you do that, and then unpause when you're finished. Okay, I've cut out my circles. I did them on a separate piece before, same size. And we're going to set one of them aside and use the first one. This one is going to help us to measure in increments of 45 degrees. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to fold this one perfectly in half, like this. Line up the sides. Give it a little crease. And then you're going to fold this again. Now what's really cool is that this is actually a way to find, if we were to open it up right now, the center of a circle. By having where these two lines cross. It's dead center every single time. Okay? So right now I have a 90-degree angle, a 180, a 270, and a 360. I'm just counting by 90s as I go around. Okay? I'm going to fold it up again though, and I want to do one more fold in half, like this. Get nice and creased so you can see your lines. This time you can open it up, and you should have 8 equal pieces. What I want you to do with your pencil or pen is I want you to label one of the lines, put it sort of at the 12 o'clock position, and label it 0 degrees. Going around, we know that this is 90. 90 and 90 is 180. 90 and 180 is 270. Yeah, I'd like to be able to label these ones in between as well. The middle between 0 and 90 is half of 90, or 45 degrees. So I'm going to label this one 45. If I add 45 degrees to 90 degrees, I get 135. If I add 45 degrees to 180, I get 225. And if I add 45 degrees to 270, I get 315 degrees. And if I were to come all the way back up to 0 again, a full circle is 360 degrees. Okay? Or a degree is thinking about taking something round, like a cheesecake, and cutting it into 360 little pieces for 360 people. A degree is not very big. It's a pretty tiny little piece. Okay? Good. Then you can use your ruler, and I want you to accentuate these lines. So put it right on top of where those folds are and make them pop out a little bit so that you can see them. You can pause the video if you need to do this. If you don't have a ruler at home, use some sort of straight edge. Okay? There you go, and you got a homemade protractor that can measure in increments of 45. Hang on to that one. We're going to make one more with the other circle. Similar idea to start. We're going to fold it in half, nice and neatly, and then in half again. And again, if I were to open it up, you don't have to, but if we were, you could find the dead center of your circle. Now this time, instead of folding in half again like we did with this one, we're going to fold this one in thirds. Now thirds is kind of tricky, but I'm going to show you a trick. If you take this corner and you bring it over like this, you'll know where to stop when these two sort of triangular shapes look like they are exactly the same. So I mean, if I stopped here right now, this one is bigger than this one. That's not the middle. So I want you to fold it over until you get to where you think is the middle between here and here. I'm going to guess about that. Okay? If I unfold that and bring this edge over to my fold, now when I open it up, I'm going to have 12 sections instead of 8. And this is going to look a lot like the face of a clock. 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay? So our next step is to label it. Again, take one of the folds, put it at the top, and let's label that as 0 degrees. We know where 90 is. We know where 180 is. We know where 270 is. But this time we're going to take 90 and divide it into 3 equal parts. Well, 90 divided by 3 is 30. So we're going to count by 30s, or count by 3s. 3, 6, 9, 12 would be 120. Another 3 would be 15, or in this case 150. Another 3 would be 18, 180. Another 3 would be 210. Another 3 would be 24 or 240. Another 3 added to 27 would be 30, or in this case 300. This one would be 330. And if we get back all the way around, we get to 360 again. Almost there. Take your straight edge and make all your lines pop out. Notice they should meet quite nicely in the center. And I'm going through this fairly quickly just because I want you to see the instructions. You can take your time and do a really good job of it. There we go. And there. Okay. Now you have a protractor that goes all the way down to 360, but counts in terms of smaller increments instead. Instead of counting by 45s like this one does, this one counts by 30s. Now this is an optional step that you can do. You can put them back to back as long as the zeros line up. Okay, and you can see it if you hold it up to the window that your lines would be one on top of the other. And if you have glue at home, you could glue them together just so that you don't lose the circle, right? On one side you count by 30s and then on the other side you would count by 45s. That's up to you. You don't have to glue them, but it's kind of nice and it makes it a little more rigid. All right, in the next video I'm going to show you how to use this to measure angles.